We're live. Just gonna let people know. Let some peeps know. What's going on, guys? If you're coming to the live stream, please give the video a like. Please give the video a like if you're coming in the live stream right now. Right? If you're coming in, guys, please give the video a like. Right? It's a good idea, isn't it? Carson, you're first. You are first, Carson. Good job, Carson. Good job, Carson. Good job, Carson. Very good. Very good, Carson. Jozu. In Japan, we say Jozu. That means like skilled. That means like good. Very good. Jozu, Carson. Jozu. Robert Constantine. Good to see you. What's going on, Robert Constantine? What's happening? What's happening? If my name had, if I actually had Constantine, like in my fucking name, I would like make usernames like Constantinople and stuff. Like I would, you can. That's a very cool name, Robert Constantine. Give the video a like for coming live stream. Judson Paul, good to see you, man. What's happening, Judson Paul? Propofol, good to see you. Propofol's in the house. Guys, you can ask USMLE questions, right? Oh yeah, I should let Instagram know. I'm gonna let peeps on Instagram know. Is that a good idea? That's what I should do. I'm gonna let Instagram know that we're live here. Let me do that. Let me tell Instagram. Live on YouTube. There, I just let Instagram know. What's happening, guys? Muhannad, what's going on? Afsana, what's going on, Afsana? Afsana, good to see you. Abdullah, what's happening, Abdullah? Shadi, that's right. You've been asking some questions in the Telegram group, and I've seen you ask some questions, and then someone was like, "Oh, ask in his live stream" or something like that. And that's why we're here. Yes. If I want to do the fellowships in the U.S. in about 9 years, you say you have 2 years left in medical school, and another 6 to 7 years for residency. Let's talk about like thinking ahead long term. Can I do the step exams in the upcoming 2 years and the score? You're asking about fellowship right now. You're asking so many steps ahead. You're like a high school student asking about like residency. That's like what you're asking. It's like, I don't really know how to like address that question. Would it still be valid in 9 years? Yeah, you just have to finish the key thing is finishing the USMLE sequence within a certain number of years. That's like the key thing. Like it differs by state. Like some states are like you have to finish all 3 steps within like 7 years or something. Other states are like 10 years or some are unlimited. Like it doesn't matter. But that's kind of the key thing. Mariam, what's happening? Syed Ahmed. Hey, Mike, thanks again for all the help. Hoping you're well. Nakia, good to see you. Good to see you, Nakia. Mamdo, best doctor ever. Sir, my exam on 20th of August. I do all your PDFs 2 times in your regular video tomorrow. We'll start NBME, which you told me. Guys, if you don't have questions, I'm just going to end the live stream because I'm not going to do this just for like nothing. Right? I'll do the live streams less frequently or something if there's no questions. I've been trying to do these daily, but if there's no questions, I'll just end the live stream. I'll do this like in a week. I'll do this 2 weeks later, and I'll just have like more rare live streams. Let's see. Best way to study review cardiology endocrine for step one. The answer is my high yield cardio. Gone. The answer is my high yield cardio PDF. Right. So you're asking about cardiology endocrine for step one. Endocrine is high yield arrows, right? It's high yield arrows. So that's how you're going to study it. High yield endocrine and high yield arrows. ACE for endocrine. The cardiology PDF's been revamped, so it's an amazing PDF. Good to see you, Mike. Krishna, who is Carson, bro. Hey, Mike, good to see you again. Guys, if you don't have USMLE questions, I'll end the live stream. No USMLE questions? I mean, do you want me to talk about dating? Like, what do you want me to talk about right now? Any USMLE questions? I'll just do these live streams less often. An M3 doctor asked so many questions I can't remember answers to. No, it's fine. Can a non-US IMG match into surgical specialties, or is it better to seek less competitive? You can match into whatever you want to match into, right? I mean, the NRMP match data on the internet, it's in PDFs. It's objective as far as, they'll give you the match versus unmatched scores of American grads versus IMGs. So it's not going to be a mystery as to what scores you need, right? Like, people are asking for my opinion, that's fine. But like, that data is actually online, where they'll give you the 25th percentile and the 75th percentile for the match versus unmatched for all the specialties, AMG and IMG. You have all that data there. You asked about surgery is not even like competitive. That's like general surgery is one rung above just like pass level stuff. Like IM, FM, PEDS, OBS-GYN, psych. Some people say OBS-GYN could be a rung up as well. There's nothing wrong. I mean, you can have high scores and like want to do like IM or FM. Like I said, I would have done FM. I thought that was most interesting. But I'm just saying, if people ask about competitiveness, like surgeries, maybe like a 230 plus for step two or something is like better. But you can get into like some other specialties like IM, FM with just a pass 214. Dahala, how can I improve my score? Can you be more specific with that question? Robert, you're saying you're from Romania? Just a quick. I was in Romania in January. I was in Bucharest. I liked Romania. I mean, it's real fucking like dilapidated and old school. It's like being in the 1970s or something. A lot of graffiti. People actually have like hardship. You can see it's like definitely like not a modernized country. It's very much like a second world country. I'd say it's second world. That's how it struck me. Because you go to like Poland. I had come from Warsaw in Poland to Bucharest, and it was like obvious that like I was going back in time. And then I went from Bucharest to Budapest, and that was a step up in terms of being modern as well. You say, just a quick question: would your PowerPoints, virology, PDF, micro, QBank be enough for step one? I've said my high yield derm PDF is loaded with micro. Guys, give the video a like if you're coming to the live stream here. Give the video a like. Help the algorithm, please. With your PowerPoints. So, I mean, I have virology. I've got some really good PowerPoints on my micro. Some of you probably didn't know that. Like, if you go into the playlist, it's not just the micro 5-minute MCQs that I do. It's also, I have 45-minute PowerPoint presentations. Some of you didn't know that. Okay, so I have those for micro. And then I have a virology PDF as well, as Robert has pointed out. on the free stuff tab. If you go under the PDFs and down into the free assessments, there's a microbiology assessment there. It's all micro, or it's all virology. I'll put out like micro cards or a micro PDF later, maybe in like the fall or winter. I'll do that. I'll get back on like putting out like actual study content. Like, I will get into that again. I said earlier I was taking this spring and summer to like not do that stuff, which has very much been the case. Like since I updated the cardiopulmonary gastro in April, I haven't been putting out other PDFs or anything. Michael, how best to spend your last two? Let me see, just real quick. Just gonna let other people know that we're live here. Just letting people know we're live. Let's see. The fuck was I? Med, you say, should UWorld score improve over time? Not really. I know that's like an interesting like answer. Like some of you probably didn't realize that, but like your UWorld score is often like not going to go up, which is weird because you think like if you're making improvement, right? Like if you're learning a lot through the QBank, couldn't you theoretically start the QBank getting like 52% on your assessments and then get like 70% by the end? Like you would think that would happen. Like UWorld scores often don't really increase that much. They really don't. Even though like your NBME scores are going to go up, like UWorld scores like often don't go up that much. But it's important to do the QBank regardless. I've said don't get fixated on your scores. Don't give a fuck about your scores in UWorld QBank or AMBOSS for that matter. Just progress through the QBank. Michael Azamoa asks, Mike, how best to spend your last 2 weeks in USMLE? Step one on the NBME question mark. The answer is yes. So I said the final month is going to be memorizing 20 through 24 free 120, and then 25 through 31. I said that. So the final 2 weeks makes sense. Should be basically 25 through 31, right? You gotta get through all that content. Sir, do you still recommend FA Biostats? FA Biostats is good. I have a PDF for Biostats. FA Biostats is good to look over the formulae. Yep. And I recommend going through just the NBME questions to learn biostats. That and QBank, of course. Biostats is a subject that needs to be studied longitudinally. That's the thing. You can't just save biostats for like a 3-day period. Be like, these are 3 days I'm going to study biostats, or 4 days I'm going to study biostats. You have to get like questions wrong on like cohort versus case control, and like be like, fuck, I still don't understand. And then get another question 2 weeks later, and another question 2 weeks later on like a similar topic to really like ingrain the information. Biostats requires longitudinal study over many, many months of QBank and NBMEs to really like ingrain the concepts. Sanjay, how can I deal with procrastination during step one prep? I've said that doing blocks of 10 in QBank is the number one way to get through if you're procrastinating. Is that what you're referring to, Sanjay? I mean, because when we talk about procrastination, it's usually like QBank, right? The NBME exams, not so much. People can get through the NBMEs oftentimes. But you're going to do 4 blocks of 10 on time tutor random. That's what you're going to do for QBank. 40 questions in the morning. But if you do blocks of 10, you put your phone in your backpack, and then your backpack goes across the table at the cafe or across the room at your home or whatever you're doing. You got to get through that block of 10, not take a break, not check your phone, finish the block of 10, and then you're going to take a break, grab your phone, grab a quick bite to eat, grab a quick drink, watch a non-medical YouTube clip, take an 8-minute break, and the phone's got to go back in the bag, and you're going to chop out blocks of 10. And that's how you're going to get through QBank when you're procrastinating. You're going to find you'll be very efficient doing blocks of 10. May Rosa Mystica, good to see you. Guys, give the video a like if you're coming to the live stream. Is it necessary to go through second pass of UWorld? The answer is no. You don't have to do second pass of UWorld. You're just going to finish UWorld once, and then you're going to go into NBMEs 20 and 21. And if you get shitty scores on 2021, that is under a 180. If you get a 189 or lower, 3-digit equivalent, which would be around 60%, maybe high 50s. If you get a 189 or lower, I pull you out from 20 or pull you out from 21, and I have you go back and do another month of UWorld incorrects, or you can switch over to Amboss. So I want to see 190 or greater on 20 and 21 NBMEs after you're done with UWorld. Those are fails, however. 197 is what you need to pass step one internal mark. So once you hit NBME 22, I have it where you must get a 197 or higher. So you must pass, okay, about mid 60s for your percentage correct. Differs by form, but I want to see a 197 or higher. If you fail any NBME 22 or upward, I pull you out immediately and I just say you're going back to QBank for a month. And by the time you get to NBMEs 27, 28, I start to want to see like 205, 210 plus, because I don't want you YOLOing in where your scores are like 18 or 199, 197. I don't want that because we don't want to take any risks. So I want to see 205, 210 plus in the NBME exam. So we have a buffer. Okay. So if you're not getting those scores, if you get to like maybe 29 and you get like a 200, I'll say I might have you pull out right now and do a month of QBank. And the student's like, I don't want that. I don't want to do that. I'm like, okay, then, don't get a fucking 200 then. Get a 205 and you don't have to do that. So it's like incentive to have you score higher, because the alternative is you're annoyed and inconvenienced that I'm delaying you a month. And it's obviously autonomy. You can sit whenever the fuck you want, but it's like discharge against medical advice. It's like the doctor says, no, you need another month off your knee. You just had the ACL repair. I want you to take another month off. You're like, no, fuck you. I don't want. I'm like, all right, don't take my advice. You're going to injure your knee. So it's like, I don't want people YOLOing going into the exam. You could pass and they'd be like, you were wrong. You're an asshole, Michael. I passed and you wanted me to delay a month, but I don't want people failing. Let's see. Shadi, you're asking about decreased systemic vascular resistance in the straining phase of Valsalva. I don't get it. Preload decrease, CO decrease. As a result, the SVR increase. See, this is laughable because this is a consequence of like QBank getting too pedantic. That's a perfect example of like the focus being not where it needs to be. People who write questions and don't know what they're doing. Because all you need to know, you ready? I'm going to make this real fucking clean and easy. Okay. All you need to know for Valsalva, for USMLE, ready? Is it decreases preload. That's it. That's all you need to know. Decreases preload. Holy shit. So what does that mean? I'll tell you exactly what it fucking means. It means that all the murmurs are going to get louder with more volume in the heart, okay, except for Hockham and MVP. So if you do Valsalva, you're going to decrease preload, okay? So MVP and Hockham become louder. If you do Valsalva and you decrease preload, then the other murmurs are going to get no change or they'll get softer, okay? So bicuspid aortic valve will be no change with Valsalva. Hockham gets louder with Valsalva. That's all you need to know. None of this bullshit about straining phase versus preload, but you're confused, CO decrease, all this stuff. Nonsense. Nonsense. Let's see. If you increase intrathoracic pressure, you decrease the ability of the right heart to fill. Makes sense, doesn't it? Crypto trading with Wills, anesthesiology becoming more competitive. Or has it been going down? I imagine it's becoming more competitive, right? Because people are focused on the cash. It's all people give a fuck about, right? It's the cash. So it's I don't see how it would become less competitive. And especially people, now that scores are going up with score inflation, people will probably get ahead of themselves. Like people don't, it's like you can make more money now and be like, holy shit, I make a lot of money. But it's like, okay, chill the fuck out. The dollar's worth less because we have inflation. So it's like there's scores, people are getting like 260s now and they think they have like big scores, but it's like, well, actually they're not as big of a deal as they used to be. So you get a lot of people who will be like, oh shit, I can apply into like anesthetics or I can apply into like derm or something. And then they don't get in. So it's like, yes, the specialties are becoming, I would imagine they're becoming more competitive. This is my speculation, because you get people who get higher scores than they probably thought they were going to get. And they're like, shit, I didn't realize I can open up these other specialties. I might as well apply because there's cash. It's like no fucking interest in anesthesiology, but holy shit, there's more cash there. So I'll just apply to that, right? I don't give a fuck if it's boring. I don't give a fuck if it entails like another 40 years of my life where I sit behind, you know, a surgery, where the surgeon is and sit on my iPad or whatever augmented reality device you're going to be using later on. Just like sitting there with your iPad, right? 40 years, intubate some people. You think it's boring, turn some dials, but it doesn't matter because you get some good cash out of it and good lifestyle, house, car, go on some trips, right? It's all good. Let's see. Dahala, Dahila, step one. NVMe. You're just asking your questions, just how to get higher scores. I mean, I've said that you're going to go through QBank, you're going to go through the touch chat is QBank, my PDFs, my YouTube MCQs, and ultimately the NVMe exams. Vish, hey Mike, I'm new to USMLE, still as an international med student. In your last live stream, you mentioned the NVMe exams. This may feel like a stupid question, but what are the NVMe exams? Yeah. The NVMe exams are 200 question forms that are random/mixed questions that are the USMLE questions. They're sample forms, essentially. They're sample USMLE forms. Questions are retired, and they're part of the question pool that's on the real USMLE. So essentially, if you imagine, I'm just going to make up a number right now. If there's, let's say, 30,000 USMLE questions floating around out there in a pool, you're going to have like active questions that are on the real USMLE. Okay. Let's say the number is like 25,000. You're going to have like maybe some inactive questions, like 1,000. And then you're going to have like the 4,000. Well, it's not even that many on the NVMe exams, but you get the point. There might be like 3,000 questions on the NVMe exams, right? 1,000 that are like offline or something in some database. And there's like, maybe 25,000 online in the exam. So they're rotated in a pool that way. They're all the same questions. So you have to do the NVMEs in preparation for USMLE, and you're going to do them last in the sequence. If I'm going to sit the bar exam for law school, okay, I want to be a lawyer, I'm going to sit the bar exam. You don't just fucking start by sitting practice bar exams. It's not what you do. You would have to do like a UWorld for law school, wouldn't you? Learn basic like law. You'd have to do like PDFs. Some dude out there in fucking East Asia, he wrote these PDFs on law, constitutional law, divorce law, whatever the fuck it is. And then you read the PDFs, you do his clips on YouTube on different law concepts. And then you ultimately do the practice bar exams and then you sit. Okay. So you don't start with the NVMe exams. It's not what you're going to do. They're ladder in the sequence of things. For step 2, we've got subject-specific NVMEs. They're called CMS forms, Clinical Mastery Series forms, which you do on your rotations. Same questions. They're just subject-specific 50-question forms. Where was I? Epic Games. As an IMG, how many months is needed for USMLE Step 1? 3 months. May Rosa Mystica. Do you like Indonesia? Yeah. Yep. I've never been to Bali though. I put up like on my Instagram story, I put up a video that was a joke because I was in Japan here in a place called Kyuzaimon, which is near Dotonbori in Osaka, and there was like some tourist boat going under a bridge with music, and I took a video of it, and the person I was with, I was like, it sounds like we're in fucking like Thailand or something, or like Indonesia. And I put the story saying like I'm in Indonesia. And I got all these DMs saying like, you're in Indonesia? Oh my God. Wasn't Indonesia. Crypto trading with Will. What are your views on mid-level encroachment? I don't know what the fuck that means, bro. Raj Matthew, hey Mike, Abdullah, what a non-US. Good to see you, Raj. I'm trying to remember what you asked me in the last live stream. You asked me something in the last live stream. Abdullah, what a non-US IMG with no US clinical experience should do to improve their odds in matching other than a high step 2 CK, just a high step 2 CK and class rank, which you can't change at this point. and try to get a letter from someone at an institution. Epic Games. I don't recommend that. I have no opinion on that. Ahmed Salama. I struggle with biochem even when reading your bio PDF. Still a weird subject for me. Do my YouTube MCQs. That'll help. Anecdotally, by the way, guys, give the video a like for coming to the live stream. All right, give the video a like. There's those of you who are still not going to like the video. It's fine. Don't like the fucking video. Anecdotally, there was like one student in particular who said she had struggled with the biochem PDF, and she said that what she did is went through my biochem playlist on the YouTube. She like binge watched all the biochem questions on my YouTube. Then she went back and did the PDF, and she said it was like way easier to tackle. She's like, oh, I understand the concepts a lot better now. So that could be a way you can approach my PDFs as well. Like if you pick up one of my PDFs and it's hard, you feel like your basics are too weak or something, you can try knocking out my playlists on the YouTube in that subject. That could be a way to do it. Anna, how to prepare for communication questions. I'm struggling with them a lot in UWorld. You can do my communication/ethics PDF if you want help on that. I think communication questions are just EQ. I don't think you need to study for them. I made the communication/ethics PDF because people nagged me about it back in 2021 when they increased ethics on the exam. So I did it. It's an excellent PDF, but I think a lot of it's just EQ. Curate, are 2 letters recommendation enough for USIMG to match? I mean, 2 to 3. Don't they require 3? Cool lenses, by the way, Anna says. That's right, Med. You retract your fucking questions. That's right. That's right. Retract those fucking questions. Double R says, hey, Dr. Mike, really appreciate all the help you provide to students. What advice would you give for the final week preparation for step 2? It's just going to be NBMEs like 12, 13, 14 at that point. It's got to be the latest NBMEs. Shea Gamer, Giant, Ravid, old graduate, currently studying for CK, past step 1, planning to apply to IM, writing CK by September. Do you think I should risk applying late this year since I won't write the exam until September? That's not a big deal. There's people who sit in September. That's not a big deal. Mustafa, what happened to your Turkey trip? LOL, we value in terms of experiment. I do plan to go to Turkey. Maybe next year I'll go to Turkey. I could easily go to Turkey. Like, yeah, I will go to Turkey. Probably next year. I'm not sure yet. I said I'm going to New York next. I'll be in New York next week. And I'll be in Australia at the end of the last. So basically, New York, the first half of New York and other places in the States, first half of August, and then Australia, the last week of August. Aldrin, how best to spend 7, but I agree that it would be good value for me to be in Turkey to experiment that way. I agree with that. Aldrin, how best to spend 7 weeks dedicated for step 2? I would spend that on the CMS forms and NBME 6 through 14 and Free 120. That should take you 8 weeks, 8 to 9 weeks. So 2 passes of the CMS forms will take you 7 weeks. So you do CMS first pass, all 45 to 50 forms, 2 forms per day. They're 50 question forms. Then you're going to do NBME 6 through 8. Then you're going to do a double pass of all the CMS forms. Then you're going to do Free 120, then 9 through 14. I'm Nate says, thanks for the quality content. Thanks, I'm Nate. Dahila, my score around 50. How can I improve it for step 1? You're talking about QBank, I'm assuming? I've said don't worry about your QBank scores. You're just going to continue pushing through the questions, and you do those in the morning, 40 questions, then the afternoon. You have the option to titrate up to 80, a maximum of 80 questions in a day, never more than that. Or you can do my PDFs and YouTube MCQs in the second half of the day. So the first half of the day is always the 40 questions, 4 blocks of 10 untimed 2 random. Second half of the day is optional based on what you want to do. So as I just said, titrate up to 80 questions if you're having a good day with questions and you're like, I could just do more QBank. Or you knock out my PDFs and YouTube MCQs. You got to make sure that you knock out the PDFs and YouTube MCQs. Don't just make it where you're doing 80 questions a day in UWorld and you're not getting through the other content. But my point to answer you here is the PDFs and YouTube MCQs are what are going to improve your score that's around 50 right now. It'll, because you increase your knowledge base going through my content. Double R, can you also mention which subject is of highest yield in step 2? Internal medicine. I'd say internal medicine, surgery, highest yield. Robert Constantino, great. You've been here actually. You say you have your step 1 in Bucharest, 20th September. Well, yeah, it's getting better now, but after 50 years of communism, things are still old school, as you said. I liked Romania. I was actually, if you ask me what I was most surprised about in Romania, I would say it's the number of bubble tea places. That was like really fucking unexpected. Like my Airbnb, there were literally like 2 fucking Asian bubble tea places, like good places, like right outside. That was like the first thing I did when I arrived in Romania, literally. Like I go to my Airbnb and like I was like, that's a fucking bubble tea place right outside my. I was like, what the fuck? And then like there were 2 places, and I stopped in one. The chick didn't speak English. She didn't speak English. She only spoke Romanian. And I like didn't. I was like, I don't want sugar. And she was like, everything has sugar. I was like, I don't want sugar. I just was like, okay. I left that place and I go to the other bubble tea place, and I just got some like oolong, no sugar milk tea with pearls. It's a good bet. Javid, sir, my exam is August 8th, and I did have UWorld all questions. In fact, some system twice, but this is all within more than 6 months. I annotated FA, read FA more than once, but in my mind, I thought, what is that? Just a bunch of what are you on about right now? Comment down below, because you got to write more concisely in the live stream. You're just writing paragraphs of like, John D, how to go over the PDFs. Do you just read them and reread them? You're just going to read them, correct? You started MS2 and EM rotation, started looking over cardio, GI stuff. Good. That's what you want to do. Someone just dropped a super chat. Sebastian, thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it. Right, if you have a question, Sebastian, just write it down below and I'll check down, because you get priority. You dropped the super chat. I'll check back down if you had a question. Just read the PDFs. That's all you have to do. Okay, people get OCD about trying to remember things, making them Anki and all this stuff. You can just read them. That's all you have to do. Nakia, quick question, boss. Your biochem Anki cards in PDF are good enough for step ? I find myself not really reading New World explanations for these. We'll try harder though. Thoughts ? I love the cards. I agree with your sentiment that the cards are excellent. Obviously I've got the cards, I've got the PDF, yes, the YouTube MCQs. You can sort of just dabble between all of them. That's what it is, right? Like you're just going to just dabble between all of them. It's a bonus that you got the cards. Like they'll help you solidify concepts for sure. If you're having difficulty with the UWorld explanations, UWorld is going to be superfluous. The reason I have people read cubic explanations, because, it's better than not doing explanations when your foundation is weak, but they are superfluous and excessive. You can learn, you can spend more time on my biochem cards over explanations from UWorld Biochem if you want. Paul S. Yo, Dr. Mike, I just passed step. Your material is so clutch. Thanks for everything. Thanks, Paul S. Med, how to convert MBA. After retracting 3 messages, you finally asked your question. How to convert NBMEs to 3-digit scores. I've said that you're going to Google, go to Google Images. You're going to type in NBME 20 score conversion Reddit, NBME 26 score conversion Reddit, and you're going to get graphs with best fit lines, and you plug your number of wrongs into X and Y as a 3-digit score, and that's going to tell you where you're at. 197 is pass equivalent. 205, 210 plus is what I want to see you at. You said also, should one start taking NBMEs only after finishing UWorld? Correct. Or should start taking older ones while, no. You're going to only commence NBMEs after you're done with UWorld. Correct. Judah, how high yield is pharmacokinetics? Not high yield. Things like Michaelis-Menten, it's like trolling. Okay, Michaelis-Menten, the Lineweaver-Burke plot. And students ask me about pharmacokinetics, and then I'm just like, okay, Tell me about urinary osmolality versus serum sodium for SID, HDI, secondary polydipsia. And the student's like, okay. So it's like, learn fucking basics before you start asking about like weird pharmacokinetics. You know, the questions show up. They're low yield though. Propofol anesthesia is the opposite of boring. I disagree with that. It's boring. You say 80% chill, then 20% you've got to step up and save lives. Nonsense. You're talking about 0.1%, you mean 0.1%. Like literally, if a surgery is like 4 hours, there's maybe like twice, 3 times during a surgery where you stand up, you like turn a knob, and then you sit back down. Don't give me this nonsense about 80-20. 80-20 rule doesn't apply to anesthetics, okay? The 99.9.1%, 0.1 rule applies to anesthetics. Mimi Ahmed, how can I get your QBank? It's just the YouTube, my YouTube questions. When to do your high yield PDFs? I said you're going to do them alongside Question Bank. So, you're going to do your 40 questions from QBank in the morning, you World Around Boston in the afternoons, or where you're going to have the PDFs and the YouTube MCQs that you're doing. So it's concurrent while you're going through QBank. You're going to knock out those 3 resources all at once. QBank, my PDFs, and YouTube MCQs, you're going to do them daily, all 3 of those daily. Akrif, what topics do you think are commonly neglected to study by students but end up being on step 1? Commonly neglected? I mean, it's a pass-fail exam. I would not neglected. I would say under-recognized would be like endocrine. Like high-yield arrows is, I would say, not neglected, but underemphasized in terms of focus. Okay, so as I just harped on a moment ago, where students ask me about pharmacokinetics, but like he or she doesn't know like the difference between SID, HDI, secondary polydipsia. That's the type of stuff. Like, do you know like high versus low aldosterone, Addison disease versus Con, right? Do you know like DKA, the arrows for the electrolytes, renal failure, PTH, vitamin D? Do you understand like the hormones with polycystic ovarian syndrome and why? Okay, like, do you understand endocrine is what I want to see. And students like often don't know that stuff. That's pass level stuff. Desi, can you make a wrong fucking answer t-shirt for me to wear to my exam? I would pay dollars. Well, I did make them. I have them. I've talked about this already. People have big fucking mouths. That's what it is. So people are like, Mike, you should make like wrong fucking answer merch. Holy shit, that would be like amazing. Okay, I did. I opened a Shopify store and like a few of them sold. It wasn't like a big deal. People have big fucking mouths. It's not just about like people will be like, you should make merch. You make merch and then they don't buy the merch. Or someone will DM me and be like, Mike, you should get like a Patreon or something. I would donate. I'm like, I've got a Patreon. That's my response. I got a Patreon. Like, here's the link to my Patreon. And then they don't donate. It's like, there's no entitlement, but it's like, you're a fucking asshole. So it's like, like people have big mouths. So, I mean, I had a Shopify store open, but I already mentioned how if you ever make merch on Shopify, you're going to learn that you can't actually make a profit from it. It serves no other purpose than to just have like a fun activity for branding for like a short time period. Because in order to make a profit, you have to basically charge like $40 for a t-shirt, which nobody wants to pay. If I made a WFA, a wrong fucking answer t-shirt, which I said I did, and I have them literally here, you might pay $18 for it, $20. But I like lose money on that. Like I get like 30 cents profit, and then I'm paying to keep the Shopify store open. So I had to make sure it's like $40 to like get like $5 out of it. And then I'm paying to keep the Shopify store open, as I said. So I was like losing money unless I'm selling shirts for $40 routinely, which wasn't going to happen. One person bought my shoes, which were like $100. And I think I got like, I don't know, like $18 from that. So it's like, you can do it for like a fun branding type of activity if that's what you want to do. But I closed the store because I was like, I'm not going to pay Shopify like $30 a month to keep this store open when like the profits I'm getting like 50 cents for like a t-shirt. It's like outrageous. Let's see. Renato, I'm taking 27. I took maybe 27. You got a 40%. 43% 29, 48% 31, 55% 25. Throughout the course of a month, studying in between, not seeing better results, what to do. I don't want you touching another step one or another NBME for step one anytime soon. Okay. Don't want you touching any NBMEs. So you got to go back to QBank basically another 2 months. So I want you doing QBank until, I don't know, mid-September, end of September. And then I want you sitting end of October. And you're going to do all the NBMEs through October. Swin 7, what do you recommend for principles of medical law and ethics, quality, safety, pain management principles? I don't recommend jack shit for that. It's a waste of time. Study actual medicine, not principles of law and ethics. Shadi Mas, you should come to Israel. There are a lot of hot chicks here. I will show you around. Are you a chick or a dude? Are you a chick or a dude? Crypto Train with Will. Mid-level encroachments is how nurse practitioner and physician assistants are getting more rights and replacing FM docs, etc. Okay. I mean, I don't have an opinion on that then. People adapt. Renato, how long will it take me to see results how long will it take me to see results? I want to follow I just gave you an answer. I said you're going to do 2 months of QBank, and then you're going to do the NBMEs in October, Renato, and you're going to sit end of October. If you're not happy with that, then you can sit earlier, but you risk failing. Let's see. Matt, I like when I do your audio QBanks first, then your PDFs. Makes it easier. Fine. Skate Fast says, what's the gym routine? Today I'll probably do like legs. I'll do legs and abs today. That's what I'm going to do. Do legs and abs. Probably. Crypto Training with Will, are USMD and IMG's curricula really that different in terms of the content they learn? Probably not, but it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, you still have to sit the USMLE, and that's going to entail doing UWorld. So I don't really care what your curricula are. It's just you got to do like UWorld or MBOS, get through QBank, get through my PDFs, get through my YouTube MCQs, get through the NBME exams. Like medical school's curricula are essentially like irrelevant. They get in the way. May Rosa Miska, what do you think about dating while doing step one? Someone's asked me this. People have asked me this. I said that obviously real life is going to be something you deal with, right? It's best not to be in like a social mindset while you're studying for step one. It's like understandable. Like the best case scenario is you actually already have like a serious partner while you're studying for step one, then you're not distracted, right? Like when I was studying for step one, I was 24. I was like highly fucking beta at the time. And I had like a serious girlfriend and I just studied like 12 hours a day. It's real fucking easy for me. You know, if you're in a social mindset though, where you're going out on fucking dates, like 2-3 dates a day, like if you're in a social zone in terms of your mindset, that's not going to bode well for step one. You gotta, it's a mindset thing. You gotta be studying long hours for the USMLEs. Obviously, step one's pass fail, but for a lot of people struggling to pass, you got to put in the hours. And then step two, obviously, you got to fight for a high score. Leon, hey Mike, there are about 6,000 questions UWorld CMS in total. Do I need to do all of them? The answer is yes. So you're going to do all UWorld's 4,100 questions or so. You're going to do all the CMS forms. It's like 2,000 to 2,500 questions. And then you're going to do the CMS forms twice. And you're going to do all the NBMEs 6 through 8, through 120, 9 through 14. EMB, ESC methylene blue. Good to see you. Raj Matthew, I asked if you checked out news on the U.S. Congress hearing on UFOs, where the whistleblower suggested the U.S. has known about alien tech since 1930s. Nonsense, stupid. It's a low IQ stuff. Like humans, like you literally get some people who think that like if quote unquote aliens were to come, that they'd be like humanoid, carbon based and speaking English. That's like what some people think, like that there's going to be these like crafts that use like, materials we're aware of, that It's like laughable. It's laughable. I've said before the aliens are already here. I've said that. I've likened it to, like, for example, ants that are walking around on the ground. Okay, ants. Are they aware of like humans around them? The answer is no. Why? Because there's too much of an intelligence gap. I think it's probably similar. Like, I think things we observe around us, galactic formations, subatomic particles, things that we observe around us, the construct of the simulation, if it's a computer system, whatever is happening, we can't. There's too much of an intelligence gap where um, we can't bridge the connections to see what's actually happening. So I think AI is going to help bridge that gap. AI is going to start the process of becoming cognizant or conscious enough to actually bridge that gap, and we'll see that they were always here. They're not. We don't have to travel like 20,000 light years. Like they're already here. We just can't. We can't see them, or we can't palpate their existence because we're not intelligent enough to make the connections. But AI will initiate that process. And how many times should PDFs and audio QBanks be done? 2 to 3 times. The answer is you can do the PDFs 1 to 3 times. However many times you want, but I'd say just like get through at least a single pass of each. Thanks, Nakia. Osama, best deck for step 2 CK. I mean, I don't recommend specific decks like Anki decks for 2 CK. I recommend getting through questions, like actual QBank questions. Mohammed, my guy, 5 weeks till step 1, can't postpone. I did 20% or 10% of UWorld. What should I? Why only 10% of QBank if you're 5 weeks out? Why haven't you prepared yet? Like, what are you doing? You haven't prepared. Okay, so I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Postpone. If you literally can't postpone, then you just got to build through UWorld. You got to sit in NVMe, see where you are. You got to just like build through UWorld. Get like 50% of UWorld done by the time you're gonna sit your step 1, but like you haven't even started preparing yet. Sebastian, hey doc, am I good to write step 1 August 10th? My NVMe scores 212, 220, 225, 230 on Fluent. Yeah, those are good scores. Yeah. I said 205, 210 plus. Von Willebrand disease. How do you like New York? I'm not there yet. I'm in New York first week of August. First like 10 days of August. You're moving to Brooklyn from Cali in like 2 weeks. Yeah, I'll go to Cali as well. I'll visit my sister out there. My sister's in SoCal. I'm gonna go there. Yeah, I'm actually staying in Brooklyn. That's funny. I'm staying in Brooklyn. I mean, I would prefer to if I were forced to live in the United States again. I said I don't want to be around guns, but if I were like choosing a place to live in the United States, I like big city, but I wouldn't want to choose necessarily like I'm not sure at this point. I'm really not sure where I would choose. Not sure. Maybe New York. Maybe New York. But at the same time, I don't want like a heavily blue area either. My views have shifted. Like I don't need to be around fucking like, you know, I mean, there's no freedom of speech, so it's like, what can I say on this like platform, right? I don't need to be around certain like mindsets that I think are like very detrimental to society. Allah B, is your world alone enough? No, you got to do my PDFs, my YouTube MCQs, the NVMe exams. Marion Paso, how to study farm. I keep failing farm Qs and NVMEs. You've got my farm playlist on the YouTube. Fucking amazing playlist. You've got my farm modules, 50 farm modules on my website. Those are free, right? I've got farm Anki, it's paid, but I've got the videos and the modules that are free. Double R, Dr. Mike, can you please explain Ramsey Hunt syndrome? I mean, come on. I think you mean type 2, but like, what are we getting into right now? It's shingles, right? So if you have VZV of cranial nerve 7, you can get a Bell's palsy. Sometimes vesicles around the ear, so herpes zoster oticus. So herpes zoster oticus around the ear, sometimes with a facial nerve palsy that cause paralysis. That's how shingles can present. Are you happy? Do you need to calculate AS CVD score? The answer is no. That's just UWorld bullshit. Zuchin. Hey, Mike, thank you for everything you do. Second attempt, previous attempt, all NBMEs hovered 60, 65, 70%. UWorld. Too much, like, you got to write more clearly. You're just a bunch of clutter. Just throwing a massive paragraph together with no, like, punctuation. And maybe 20, 65%, that's borderline. I want to see high 60s, 70 plus. Shoddy, you're a dude. But you say you know a lot of chicks. Okay. I mean, I've been invited to Israel. Like, I've been invited to Israel by multiple people. I mean, I would go there. Like, I've been there 4 times. Zuchen, also fellow Aussie grad. Do you miss Queensland? Well, I'm going to Queensland this time next month. I will literally be in Queensland. I do, in many ways, actually miss Australia. I do. Thanks for your PDFs. Amazing advice. Times 100,000. Is research needed for matching? The answer is no. It's overrated. But I've said that if you're trying to get into a competitive specialty at a competitive institution, you have to check all the boxes. Chin, you hope this test ends August, September. Do you think it's possible? Early September. Yeah, early September. If you got to get the NBME scores like high 60s to 70 plus though, Chin. You got to get 205, 210 plus equivalent. I've said this. You have to do that. Lovely Libra. How the fuck didn't I get a notification? I signed up for it. Maybe not enough people liked the video. It's an algorithm thing. That's why I tell people to like the video when they come in. It's because even though it's live, even though YouTube prioritizes lives, it's still algorithm based. So they still want to see engagement of like people who come in. What's your opinion on fasting? Can it really cure cancer diabetes? I think it's beta. If you're a dude, I don't think fasting should be part of your routine. Like fasting can help you live longer, right? Like it's known that like low calorie intake helps you live longer. Like it's known. But I would rather like live if it's like live to 102, but like be like a beta eating carrots and fasting occasionally, or like just eat fucking meat like I want and like just eat more. Eat a ramen sometimes. Like I eat a lot, just healthy. Like I would rather like do that and live to like 90 and just be like, well, I fucking enjoyed my life in terms of food. I didn't need to like eat fucking like carrots and fast like a beta. And then I lived to 102 and it's like, okay, like, I mean, what are you going to do between 90 and 102 apart from like look at the ocean? That could be a good retirement, right? Could be good. I mean, it's fine, but I'd rather eat meat when I'm like in my 30s or something. Right? That's what I'd rather do. Cure cancer? No, it's not going to do that. RR, thanks for the $10 super chat. I appreciate it. Thanks for that. I can get a ramen with that. I'm hungry as hell right now. I'm going to go to the gym hungry. Like I don't want to go to the gym hungry. I'm going to have like a small protein shake or something before I go to the gym. Crispy, I am 9 weeks away, 50% UWorld done. I got to know your PDFs recently. Can I still get through every NBME PDF plus MCQ? No, you're not going to get through everything. You can get through all the NBMEs. You need 4 weeks for those. 50%. You have to finish 50% of UWorld in 5 weeks, and then you have 4 weeks to do all the NBMEs. You can do that. PDFs, I mean, like, I want you to do all the resources. I mean, you really don't have enough time. I want you to get through my cardio, pulm, renal, gastro, heme, PDFs, high yield arrows at a minimum. What's happening, Angela? What are you up to? You're late to the chat, Angela. Dimitri, what's going on, dude? How does year of graduation influence? I've said that if you're more than 2 years out, you're probably going to need a step 3 to be competitive, more competitive. It shows recent competence and that you haven't detrained. So you're going to want to have a step 3 score if you've been out of med school at least 2 years. The more time away from med school, the lower your chances are of matching. Zuchin, trying to fit the 200 character limit. Hope you have lots of coffee. I haven't had a coffee in a long time. I'm off coffee. I've like cut my caffeine intake significantly the past few days, and I was like really fucking having anxiety. Like today I had a tea, like maybe 8 hours ago. No, like maybe like 12 hours ago, I had a tea. And then before this live stream, I had a matcha, which is like the actual legit high antioxidant powder, natural. There's natural caffeine in that a little bit. But like that's like all I'm doing right now. That's the maximum I'm doing. But that was like maybe half of what I was doing. I was having like 3-4 teas a day and like sometimes a 0-calorie energy drink and a half. Too much. But I was trying to get through not sleeping. Sleep's a waste of fucking time. Pisses me off. I can't wait until we can just like upload ourselves to Silicon. Waste of fucking time to have to sleep. Waste of fucking time. So I was like on a lot of caffeine to keep me going. And then I was like, I have to detox. This is like not good. And then I like detoxed and I was like having like crazy anxiety. Like anxiety, like you feel like doom, like you feel like literally like impending sense of doom over like nothing. You're like nothing. There's no reason to be like stressed right now. And I just felt like doom. It was just like weird. And then I like was looking it up. It's like I already know this, but I just like looked it up anyway. I'm talking with Chat GPT about it. I'm like, how often does anxiety occur with caffeine withdrawal? And it's like it depends on the person. And I was like, well, how does it present? All this stuff. I'm literally talking with Chat GPT. And it literally gave like 12 fucking, it literally enumerated like 12 fucking symptoms. And I was like, I have like all those symptoms. I'm better now, but it was like the past 2 days, I had like anxiety from the caffeine withdrawal. It's not good. You have to have healthy caffeine habits, like 1 a day, 2 a day, maybe. Not fucking like 4 or 5 teas a day. Like that's not good. Just a little bit. I think the matcha is a good addition, though, as I said, antioxidants. Swin 7, do you recommend doing UWSA 2 earlier compared to NBME 13? And 14. I don't prescribe the UWSAs. I've said that. Your CMS form's around 77%. Is that safe? That's good. 35 and above, 70%. 35 out of 50 is satisfactory. 40 plus is what I look for. I don't prescribe UWSAs unless you've exhausted all the other assessments. You need to go through 6 through 14, 6 through 8, free 120, 9 through 14. That's what you're going to do. Thanks, Mary. Good to see you, Mary. Dimitri, I already answered your fucking question. You spammed asked it twice. Dimitri. Oh, you're going to say now you had a typo. I understand. How is it to practice medicine in Australia? Asked Raj. It's a longer process. There's pros and cons. It's a longer process to become an attending. They're not called attendings in Australia. They're called consultants. But it's a longer, like you graduate med school, and then rather than going straight into a program, like a training program, like family medicine or, OBS-GYN, whatever it is, rather than going straight from med school into a training program, you do what's called residency, which is not a training program. Okay. Residency in Australia is your post grad years where you're you're called what's you're referred to as a house officer. Okay, so you're an intern, then you're a junior house officer, senior house officer, principal house officer. Sometimes you can jump between the levels. Like, holy shit, they went from JHO to PHO. Like, they skipped senior house officer. Like, sometimes you get people who jump, and then when you hit PHO, you apply into the training program. That's what it is. So you'll be like a PHO in like radiology or something, and you're doing research that year as well. But you'll be on a team practicing as like a doctor who's like 4 years out of med school, 3, 4, 5 years out of med school. You'll be a PHO. You're on a team, seeing patients all the time as though you're an attending, but you're not on the actual training program. And then you apply into the training program, and then you get in. Then you do your like 4 years plus of radiology. Then you're finally a consultant. So it's a longer post grad process in Australia. However, Australia has a shorter pre med process. When I was in Australia, most of the Australians in my program were called twosies, which means that they had done 2 years of undergrad. They were accepted out of med school, and they would do 2 years undergrad and then 4 years med. So in the United States, everybody's doing like a 4 year bachelor, sometimes a master's. That's like everybody. You occasionally, sure, occasionally there's 7 year med programs. There are early entry programs in the States, but they're like few and far between, right? But in Australia, like most of the Australians in our program, they were like 2 years out of high school, and they graduated high school at age 17 in Queensland, where I was. So you had like people who just turned 19 who were like coming into meds, who were in med school, and you had like foreigners who were like 30s. You know, I was like 22, going on 23 when I started med school. But I mean, you had like foreigners who were like in their 30s with like PhDs and stuff, like coming into our program. And you had like, 19-year-old Australians who were obviously very bright because they were accepted out of high school, and they were like scoring higher than the foreigners who had like PhDs. I'm like, it was funny. But I mean, my point is Australia has a shorter pre-med process overall, but then it's a longer post-grad process. So if you're born in Australia and you go through their program and then you go to the US, you could literally be an attending when you're like 24 or something. It'd be really, really fast through the process. Let's see. Thanks, Win7, Double R, thanks. Bura. 240s on 20 through 23. Good. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really concerned when you're scoring 240s equivalent on the step 1 NBMEs. I said you only need 205, 210 plus. I've said that. Double R, rest and relaxation. Dr. Mike, for step 2, can you please explain ascending pain protocol? I will not. I mean, they ask like, you're obviously going to, if this is what you're referring to, like start with gentle analgesics, right? Like acetaminophen NSAIDs. They want you to know for post-surgery, for surgery NBMEs, that the combination of acetaminophen oxycodone is high yield. Like, don't just jump to like hard-hitting opioids like fentanyl or morphine or mepiridine. You have to escalate or ascend, as you put it, to acetaminophen oxycodone. If a patient has cancer, so cancer pain, not post-surgery, sometimes we just go straight to morphine for that. Always treat pain fully. Even if they tell you patient has history of opioid addiction or is a heroin user, okay, they'll tell you patient's an active heroin user, but they have actual, like, they've had a procedure or they need actual pain control. You always maximally treat pain, always. And they also want you to know that pain can cause hypertension. That's on one of the forms, I think it might be a surgery form. So a patient has high blood pressure and they need pain control, and the answer was like the hypertension due to the pain. That's what you needed to know for that question. And the other thing is pain can present as depression-like symptoms. So they'll tell you like, a woman has cancer or something, and like metastatic cancer, and she's all like teary-eyed and in pain. They say she has a lot of pain and she like wants to die and stuff. And like depressive disorder is wrong. The answer is like inadequate pain control. So you need to know that pain control really, really important. Let's see. Fives, which specialties will allow you to not work weekends, not take call and earn a lot of cash? LOL. Family medicine will get you the most time. Family medicine, as I said, best specialty for time because you can still get a good income and you have time. Don't like you guys need to realize you can be some like high-end surgeon making a lot of cash, but you have no fucking time. Money buys time at the end of the day. You're making 600K a year and you got your cash, which is great. You got your house, you got your car. I mean, apart from that, like, what are you doing actually? So you're going to ultimately buy time, buy a vacation. That's what you're going to do. But if you're making like maybe 180K a year as a family med doc, I don't know, 220 a year, whatever it is, as a family med doc, well, you have more time, right? You have more time. Mariam, what's your favorite hot sauce? The Blair collection's good. Blair Beyond Death is good. You can't find that in stores in Japan. You have to order it online. Blair Beyond Death is a good sauce. It comes with a wax top on it because the Scoville rating is high enough where it has the wax. And it's really good with meat, with red meat. You can mix it sometimes with ketchup. If you want it like a more of a dipping sauce, you can mix it with ketchup. So Blair Beyond Death is a good sauce. I have a Mad Dog sauce right now that I don't like. It's not hot enough for me. Dimitri hates sleep too. I should have full 24-hour days. Do your things. Ahmed, I gotta go to the gym. Should I take step 3 before applying to residency if I failed CVS Econ multiple times and took more than 1 year to sit step 1? Step 3 for that utility, I mean, I don't think is a big deal. I said step 3 is more about if you've been out of med school for a while. Gurasol, you say you were living in Japan, you had to cut back the wheat noodles and bread, got gut allergies. I decided to go for cold rice noodles. Okay, yeah, the cold rice noodles can be good, like in like veggie wraps and stuff. Sometimes with small amounts of meat, like the spring rolls, right? The cold rice noodles. I don't eat a lot of carbs as it is. Like I'll have a ramen maybe like once every like 2 weeks or something. Most of my carbs come from granola. Granola and milk is like how I get most of my carbs. But like ramen's really good. And when I go get ramen, like right now, I'll get like double, triple meat, and I don't finish all the noodles. I don't finish all the men. Men in Japanese means noodles. So like I won't finish all. I'll leave because that's like more carbs. So I'll have like more meat, but I'll leave like some of the carbs there. Bread's fucking amazing. I have bread with eggs. I do that when I have breakfast. Like when I go to the gym after I'm done, I'm gonna have bread with eggs for sure. But in the fall/winter, I'm gonna cut. So because once you're putting on like long sleeves, you don't need to be like jacked the same way, right? Like it's always good to have like some mass as a dude, but like I don't need to be like maximally fucking jacked when I have like long sleeves on. So like I'll cut in the winter, run a lot more, and then I'll put up more like, ab pics on Instagram. How's that? Okay. I'll put up like an updated abs pic, right? It's like you gotta fucking do that. You gotta I said in the last live stream, I was putting up like sci-fi pics that I enjoyed putting up some sci-fi pics. They got like really shitty engagement. They got like 2 likes. So I was like, all right, I won't put up sci-fi pics. People wonder why there's like toxin, why these platforms are toxic waste. It's because like people put up stuff they want to do. You're like, I like gardening. I'm gonna put up some plants or something. No fucking engagement. and then put up sci-fi pics, no fucking engagement. Put up like a looks oriented, like, series of photos, like good engagement. So it's like, all right, like, get more cut in the winter, put up some abs pics. How's that sound? Lose some follows while I'm at it, because some people get offended when you put up like abs pics. Be like, that's not why I followed him. I want boring posts. I don't want abs pics. Unfollow. Good, unfollow. You know what I'm saying? Anytime I post something, I lose follows. Like I notice that. Humans are weird. I notice that. Like I gain follows like throughout the day. That'll like happen. I gain follows throughout the day. But I just notice it's interesting. Like anytime I post something on Instagram, I'll like lose some followers where someone's like, oh, that person, I was following him. I don't want his posts. Unfollow. It's like interesting. But then the follows just will like go up like, throughout the day. But I just think humans are interesting. Like anytime you post something, you'll get like, some unfollows with it. Let's see. It can be like that with YouTube posts too. Like I'll post a YouTube clip, lose 4 follows, and I'm like, okay, 4 people were like offended or something that I put up a new MCQ, and then the followers jump up again. What's the biggest shock after moving to Japan? Um, there's no like big shock. I think like I said when I first moved here, I was surprised by outdoor vending machines. That was like weird when I first moved here. Cause like in Australia and the United States at least, vending machines are like inside buildings, like in the gym, in like the hallway of like in a building somewhere. But they're all over the streets in Japan. There's like alcohol vending machines outside my building. I can just go get like if I wanted, I could just pay like 80 cents and get like alcohol from a vending machine on the street and drink it on the street with no problem. So it's legal to do that here. Um, nothing like shocking. Nothing shocking after moving to Japan. Um, I'd say like the most annoying thing about being in Japan is like the protocols. There's a lot of like unnecessary protocols and rules. It's a rules based society, very orderly. A lot of protocols where you're like, why do you have that rule? That just like makes people's lives like very like inconvenienced. And they're just like, we just have it. It's our rule. Like the last place I was at, when you see my old YouTube clips, the old like the dorm room looking place I was in, I used to pay my rent monthly in cash. I used to walk to the bank. This isn't a joke right now. I used to skate to the bank. I used to use an ATM to first get money out. This isn't a joke. I used to get money out of the ATM, and then I used another ATM to put money in it and pay my rent in cash. And I would get coins back. Okay. That's how I paid my rent at my last place. I was like, can I just do like an automated deduction? They're like, no, you have to pay like monthly in cash. Like literally like 1986 type shit. Okay. I was like, what is this? The fucking like, 30 years ago? This new place I'm at, like I have a deduction that just it's automatic, you know. And I said I don't even check my rent. They could be deducting double. I wouldn't even know. Yeah, it's a whole separate conversation. People were asking about money before, and I was saying, um, but yeah, I mean, no real like crazy shocks or anything, but protocols. I have to when I go to my gym here, I have to take my shoes off before going in. This isn't a fucking joke right now. Okay, it's not a fucking joke. So I bring an extra pair of shoes to the gym, and when I get to the gym, there's a locker. Like I go up the stairs to the gym, and there's the door where I use my fingerprint to get in. Okay. And there's like lockers outside the gym. And I have to take my shoes off from the street, put them in the locker, and then go into the gym. And then I'm not allowed to wear shoes in the front of the gym. I have to like walk through the gym in my socks. And then I go to like another set of lockers and I like put on my shoes, my second pair of shoes at the locker. Now, when I first started going to this gym, I don't know, like 2 years ago or something, I was working out one day, and some like beta Japanese dude who's working there like comes up to me while I'm in the middle of a set, and he's like sumimasen, sumimasen. Like he's like, your shoes. He's like, were you wearing those on the street? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, you can't wear those in here. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you can't. He's like, you have to change your shoes. You need like a new set of shoes for the gym. I was like, okay, noted. Like next time I'll do that. He's like, no, no, no. He's like, you can't work out right now if you don't have another pair of shoes. And I was like, bro, like get the fuck away from me. I was like, don't. I was like, just get away from me right now. He's like, no, you can't work out. He's like, you're not allowed to work out like right now. And I was like, all right. I was like, I'm fucking out of here. I was like, cancel my membership. He's like, okay, I cancel your membership. It was like the most annoying fucking thing. And I had to literally be like, this dude's gonna fucking cancel my like membership right now. And so like I come out of the locker room and I was like, bro, don't cancel my fucking membership. I was like, I'll bring a pair of shoes. All right. And it was like, now I bring fucking shoes to the gym. Literally. Okay. That's like what I'm talking about. Whereas like go to a gym in the United States or in Australia, people would be like, what do you mean you take off your fucking shoes to enter the gym? Just wear your fucking street shoes in the gym. That type of stuff. It's like Japan has protocols, just a lot of protocols for no reason that just like inconvenience people. But it's a polite society, as I said. It's a very polite society. It's your baseline shifts. Your baseline shifts. So, like, if you're a foreigner and you come here, you think, wow, Japanese people are so polite. That's what you're going to be thinking for, like, you know, months that you're living here. Then your baseline shifts and you say, actually, this is normal. And it's actually that foreigners are really fucking rude. That's what it is. Like there's propriety. It's a shift in propriety. It's your baseline. So I view like foreigners as rude now. I view Japan as like normal. Whereas like people come here and they think Japan's weird. They think Japan's like too polite. So it kind of goes hand in hand with the protocols. Like everyone's very orderly and deferential, very like respectful. But foreigners, you can spot them from a mile away. Not just like if you see foreigners, but I mean like just how they act, like how they talk. Like, let's see. I gotta go to the gym. 6 a.m. here. Nino, you're asking med question. Ode, wouldn't you love me to answer your med questions right now? Wouldn't you love for me to answer your med questions? Um, you're asking more questions about MCAT, Shivy. Weren't you asked about MCAT in the last live stream? Well, no, I say lovely Libra. What I'm saying is like foreigners are like loud. They're very loud and like obnoxious in terms of how they order food. How they order stuff at cafes is like very like loud and obnoxious. Like in Japan, you just pretty much are like normal. You just say like, oh, I'll have like this, like onegai shimasu, which is like okudasai, which is like please. Okudasai is like please. Okay, and they're like onegai shimasu, right? Like, so I'll like order a coffee. It's like onegai shimasu, arigatou gozaimasu. Like you say thank you. Foreigners are like, yo, yo, I'll have that one there. I'll have that drink there. I'll take that there. Foreigners are just like very like loud and like stupid. Like I'll observe it in line. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Just order your fucking drink and like get out of line. I think Japan has a low criminal level, Dimitri, because there's no fucking guns here. That's why. United States is like all about the open carry. Open carry. I was looking at a couple charts earlier. There are some states where you're not allowed to open carry a handgun, but you're allowed to open carry a long gun without a permit. That's like there's like graphs. If you actually Google it, there's graphs. They have like colors for the different states, and the colors mean different things. Like in Florida, you're not allowed to open carry. handguns or long guns, is how they word them. They don't say like semi-automatic rifles or whatever. But in Florida and New York, for instance, they were red. You're not allowed to open carry there in those states, and parts of California. California was like split up by counties, but you've got states. I think like Montana is like one of them. Maybe it was North Dakota. I'm trying to remember which it was, but there's like one of the northern states I'm thinking of that like it's their color was like green for you're allowed to open carry a long gun, but you're not allowed to open carry and without a permit, but you're not allowed to open carry a handgun without a permit. Like that's like weird. And you can do that from 18. You can literally be 18 years old and you can open carry a semi-automatic weapon in the United States without a permit. But you can't be like 20 years old and have a beer in the street. That's not a parody. That's the United States. You're not allowed to have a beer in the street. You're not allowed to like stand outside your house, talk with some friends in the street and have like a beer. You're not allowed to do that. But you are allowed to like be 18 and that's when you're like 30 years old by all means. But you're not allowed to but you are allowed to be 18 years old walking around with open carry without a permit. You're allowed to do that. And people wonder why there's like crime issues in the United States. Kyoto has more. You're talking about Kyoto? I don't like Kyoto too much. There's too many cars. Kyoto has like all the, the temples and stuff, right? The castles, the temples. But there's too many cars there. Guys, I'm headed to the gym. 6 a.m. here. All right. I'll do more of these live streams. That's right, Christian Ong. You retract your fucking messages. That's right. That's right, Christian. Retract those fucking messages. That's it. So I'm gonna head to the gym now. All right, guys. See if I can successfully end this live stream.